Hey guys, welcome to our Keynotes. Until now, in the JDBC concepts playlist, I have uploaded two videos. The first video is about statements, and the second video is about prepared statement. So we just left with the third type of statement, that is callable statement. So let's understand some basics and then we'll get into a demo. So callable statement is used to execute stored procedures. So now why we need to create stored procedures? Just to improve the performance. So we will see how to create a stored procedure first, and then how to call the stored procedure in the Java application. So as I said that we are going to create a stored procedure. So this is how we need to call the stored procedure. So we need to use prepare call method. Inside that, we need to use call, and then we need to mention the stored procedure name. And this we have already discussed that we know that this is a placeholder. We have used this one in prepared statement. Now, either I can pass input to this by set method or by using scanner, I can do the same. Now, in this case, as I said that we can use set and then the particular data type, and then we can set this one refers to the first position of the placeholder. That means the first column. And then this is the value which is getting set into the first placeholder. Okay. Now we already know, we have already discussed the execute query and execute update methods. Now I'm going to talk about the execute method. To execute stored procedure, particularly in callable statement, we're going to use execute method. Okay, so hope so this is this returns boolean value, and we just left with one more method, that is execute batch, that I'm going to discuss in the upcoming video. Okay. Now let's understand there are three parameters in callable statement. The first one is in, the second one is out, and the third one is in out. In means we are going to provide inputs. It can be either one column or two column or three or whatever you wish. So we're going to use this method, set method. Out in the sense we are going to retrieve only the values using this out parameter. Using get method, we are going to get whenever you want to get something, means you want to print something from your table to your Java application. So we need to use get method. And in case if you want to do both, like you want to provide input, for example, let's say you have to input enrollment number, and in return you want the output of, output as the student name or something like that, then you can use in and out. So in for enrollment number, and out parameter is for displaying his name or something like that. Fine. So in this case we have to use both the methods, like set, we have to provide input, and then based on the input we're gonna get the values from the table through stored procedure. Fine. So I'm going to discuss all these parameters with a demo. So this video might be a little lengthy, so to understand, for your better understanding, I'm just going to explain all those things, these three parameters with a demo. So uh, try to watch the complete video. Fine. Now here I have attached the differences of these three statements. So this is most important. So we know that we use statements, means the first type of statement, to execute static SQL query, and which can be executed only once. Fine. And then prepared statement we can execute for multiple times. We know what is prepared statement. We use placeholders, fine, to provide dynamic input. And callable statements, just now we have discussed that we're going to use it to execute the stored procedures. Fine. So in prepared statement, of course, we don't pass any parameters in runtime. And in using placeholders in prepared statement, we can pass parameters. And in callable statement, of course, we have these three types of parameters: in, out, in, out. Okay. So, and this is the most important point which I have to discuss. The performance of statement is low because whenever you want to display a record or something, that particular time the query will get executed and then it will retrieve the results for you. So it is very slow. And then prepared statement is little better than the statement. And this callable statement, the performance is really good because the stored procedures are pre-compiled, and cached. So which means it comes from the temporary memory, I mean the cache memory, so that the retrieval speed of a particular record will be faster. So these are all the things which you have to understand. Now let's dive into the demo. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to open NetBeans, and then let me start the exam. So I have started both Apache server and MySQL, and I guess I have the MySQL tab here. Yeah. Okay. So the database which I'm going to use is statements, and this is my table name, that is student. So I have these many records. So the first thing is that we need to create stored procedures, right? So after creating the table and inserting the records, we have to go and create stored procedure. So I have created some stored procedures over here. You can see the created stored procedures over here. Now, how to create a new stored procedure? For that, just hit this SQL tab, and then let me just explain this. This is my stored procedure. So it starts with delimiter and it ends with delimiter. Basically, we know that each SQL query ends with the default delimiter, that means semicolon. So, but for stored procedures, we're gonna uh, write some multiple lines of code. So I want to reset the semicolon to dollar, and then here I'm saying end dollar dollar, which means that inside this particular thing, I have stored procedure. Even for creating triggers, we use delimiters like this. Okay, now let's understand. Uh, I have create procedure, and then this is the stored procedure name, like insert underscore stored procedure. For my understanding, I've kept this name. Now we are talking about in parameter. So how many in parameters I have in this particular line? So I have three in parameters. You can see that input in variable underscore enrollment number. I'm going to provide input as enrollment number in integer format, and the second input is student name. So I have named these are all stored procedure variables, so I'm just renaming it as variable underscore something, so that for my understanding I'm doing this. And then the student name is in variable character, and again, because we have three columns over here, just now we have discussed that we have seen the table, so we have three columns over here, fine, in a table. And then for city, I'm saying variable underscore city. And again, a data type of variable character is specified. Now you have to begin. And basically I said that we're going to use in parameter and we are going to insert a particular record, right? So here I have three parameters, means three inputs I'm going to provide. I mean, for three columns. So this is the SQL query insert into this table name is student. All right. And these are all my default column names. And then values. Now I need to pass my stored procedure variables over here. So over here we have created. Fine. So I'm going to pass enrollment number, student name, and city. Now I'm just saying commit, means I want to save the changes. And then I'm saying end and resetting the delimiter to semicolon. Fine, that's it. Now if after completing the stored procedure, you have to just click go here. Once you do, the stored procedure is created. And now just go to your left hand side and then click on this procedures. And then you should find your stored procedure. This is the stored procedure we have created, insert underscore sp. Now, after creating the stored procedure, you have to execute it to check whether your stored procedure is working fine or what. And then please go to your Java application. In case if the stored procedure won't perform as you expected, then it's a cumbersome task to come back again and do the changes. So let's just execute it here. Now we have used three times in parameters, means we are going to pass three values. So let's insert and check it out. For example, it is asking for, this is the variable names which we have used. Hope you remember, stored procedure variable names. Now let me just say 777 as my enrollment number, and RK, and then city is Chennai. So let me say go, click on go, and once you do, it is successfully done. Now just check your table. Just open your students table, and then the last record would be this Fine. So it is perfectly fine. Now just go to your Java application. Now here, so in this particular unit, we're going to use this SQL package, fine, java.sql. And then I'm using scanner, and then class name, there is main method and throws exception, or you can use try catch block to catch the exceptions. Now these two lines, we know that the first line is registering the driver and using for name method, and then the second one is creating the connection, means using get connection, and in the URL you have to write the database name. The database name for us over here is statements, right? You can see that. And I have mentioned it, the username and password. The username is default username is root, and there is no password as of now. Now I'm saying while true, which means it is going to ask me the inputs infinite times until I quit. So I'm using scanner, and the object is created for the scanner, and I'm accepting three inputs. The first input is enrollment number, so I'm saying next int scanner.nextInt, and then I'm storing it in a variable, roll number and student name and student underscore city. So these are all my variable names. So the most important line comes here, means this is the the statement where we are going to call the stored procedure. So how to callable statement, and this is the reference, and for which connection, I mean where you have to execute this particular thing. So this is the connection variable reference, and then I need to use prepare call method, and inside that I'm saying call, and then I need to specify the procedure name, stored procedure name, insert underscore stored procedure. That's what my stored procedure name. Okay, so which we have just created. I'm going to use this one. All right, now I'm going to pass three inputs, so I'm using three placeholders because these three inputs I need to just pass into this, right? And how I'm going to pass like this. So these three lines, like I'm saying set int, and I'm saying one means in the first placeholder, and I'm passing this variable name, roll number, which I'm accepting from user. Okay. So similarly, I'm saying student name goes to second placeholder and city goes to third placeholder. So now all these values are, you know, passed using the set string method and set int method. Now, the fourth step is to execute the stored procedures. So here I'm using execute method. So you should use execute method to execute stored procedures. We have already understood what is execute query and execute update. Execute query method is used when you want to display tabular data. Like we use select SQL query for that. Fine. Execute update we use only when you are doing some modifications like insert, update, delete, and all. And then execute method we are going to use to execute stored procedures. So I hope this is clear for you. Now here, if you want to continue by inserting the records, I'm just saying that if my answer is yes, and that I'm going to continue. If it is no, and I'm just going to break this loop while over here, right? So, and then I'm saying success method. I didn't close the connection here. If you wish to close, you can close it. All right. And now if I run this, let me just run. So it is asking for the student ID. Let me say 3333, and the student name is again uh, Keynotes, and the city name is, let's say, Rajkot, and enter. Now it is going to ask, do you want to add more records? I'm saying no, and it is success. Now whatever we have entered, it should get inserted into the table. Let's go back to the table and refresh it. Student is our table name. I'm going to check with this, and you can see that the last record which we have inserted just now using callable statement with stored procedure which got inserted. Fine. So this is how you can use in parameter. Now let me demonstrate in and out parameter together. So for that, let me just use this. So I'll show you this in this stored procedure. or let me just edit this for you. So this is get student name. Let me check the procedures. I have the procedure over here. So I want to show you something else. Like if you edit the procedure, it shows something like this. Basically, there are two ways to create stored procedure. One way is go to SQL tab and then write the complete code of stored procedure. Another way is doing here. So if you click on this routines, and then here there will be something called create new routines, and you will get this box. So in this, you can select, you can mention the procedure name, you can select procedure, and you can select whatever the parameters you want over here. And you have to just write this part. And once if you write and then click go, the procedure will be created. So either you can follow this method or that, the SQL tab where you have to type the complete lines. Okay. Now here, uh, for the same table, this table has this student table has got 3 columns. You know that. Now I'm going to give one input as my student ID, and then I'm in return I want student name in the as the output. Okay, and these are all my data types. And here you can see that select student name. This is the column name over here. You can see the table column name. And then what is the variable for this I'm passing? That means variable underscore student name. So I'm mentioning it over here from student table, where this enroll is again the column name, which is equal to what is my stored procedure variable for this input. That means variable underscore SID. So I'm just mentioning it. So once this is created, so let me just run this. We have just created a get student name. This is the stored procedure. Let me execute it here. And if I say one, click, we just want to pass only one input because we have only one in parameter. And in return, it is going to display the name for us. Fine. I'm just saying go. And here you can see that it is displaying ABC. Enrollment number 1, the student name is ABC. Let's check our table. You can see that enrollment number 1, the student name is ABC. That's what we got in the output. Fine. So which means we are successful with the stored procedure. Now I'm just going to show you how to call that particular stored procedure. The coding part is going to be same like SQL and scanner packages. And again, registering the driver, getting the connection. I'm using the same database. Fine. And here you can see that I'm creating the scanner object similar to the previous program. And I'm just accepting only one input because I have only one input variable and one output parameter. Okay. Sorry, it's a parameter, one input parameter and one output parameter. So here in callable statement, I'm using prepare call get student name. Then here I have two placeholders. One placeholder is for my input, which I'm going to pass the enrollment number, and then in return it is going to print the student name. Now how to pass? So here I'm passing the variable name. Remember that over here, which I'm accepting input from the user, and then I'm putting it in this variable. Right now I'm passing the variable over here to the first position of the placeholder. So in return, it should execute, it should print the name for me. So first I need to execute the stored procedure. So I'm using execute method, CS callable statement dot stored procedure. Means using execute method, the stored procedure will be executed. Now I want to print the student name. So how to do that? You want to get something from the table, right? So I'm saying in system.out.println and name of the student, callable statement dot get string. So here we are passing input. That's why we are saying set. Here I want to get the information from the table. So I'm saying get. And then I'm saying that the second placeholder. So again, I'm saying execute. So now it is going to print the student name for me. So let me just run this Java application. And over here, you can see that it is asking for student ID. The ID which we know is 1. And it should print ABC. Of course, it is printing ABC for me, right? So this is what in and out parameter. So you can have multiple in, multiple out parameters if you wish. So this is just a demo. So I have taken a simple example for you. Now let's understand out parameter. So for out parameter, let's say that I'm going to use student count 2. That's my procedure name. Let me just show you the procedure. This is the procedure which I have created, student count 2. And let me edit it so that you can see what is there inside. So the procedure name is student count 2, and then I'm selecting procedure here, and the parameter is only one, that is out parameter, and this is the variable name, stored procedure variable name, and then the data type is variable character, and I just want to display all the records from the student table. So I'm saying select start from student. Remember one thing, that straight away we can't print the whole table value into your Java application. We should use ResultSet, because ResultSet can store the tabular data. From there we can retrieve the records. Okay, so let's get into Java application and see how the code has been done. So let's go here. I'm just clicking go, and let me execute it here for you. Student count 2, right? Click on this, and if you say for the count variable, it is showing null, and here it is displaying the complete records for us. Okay, the entire table. Now let's go back, and we'll check the code. Starting with java.sql. Here we don't want to pass any input, so I'm not using scanner over here. So, and then this is the registering driver step using for name method, and get connection, again the same database, and this line. So this is about callable statement, and right now my stored procedure name is student underscore count 2, and I have only one placeholder here, and I'm saying execute. So in this case, it will execute the stored procedure, and then to retrieve all the records, what I have done here is I'm just again passing this callable statement into the execute query method here, and then I'm just storing all the results, means the tabular data, into result set. And then here I'm saying while rs.next. We have discussed many methods like next, previous, last, first, and all. So here I'm just going to get int first column. We know that the first column of our table is enrollment number, right? And then if you want to extend, if you want to print name and the third column city, you can just extend this code, get string 2, get string rs.get string 3, something like that. So it is going to print you the complete tabular value, um, tabular records for you. So let me just run this here. So I got the complete first column from the table. All the enrollment numbers got displayed here. So this is how we can play with callable statement. Basically, to improve the performance, we are going for callable statement. I hope that this video is clear for you. And if you have any queries, do please comment. And if you like the video, hit the like button to subscribe my channel. Thank you, and thanks for watching the video.